After a great summer season's riding in the Northern Hemisphere, conditions are starting to change, time waits for no man and the seasons roll on. As we approach autumn and winter, we're going to take a little look this issue at some seasonal adjustments that we can make to both our riding technique but also our setup of our bikes to make sure that the changing conditions don't mean that we have to stop riding or take on less technical trails, but we match the changing conditions with little tweaks to what we're doing and the inputs that we're making. First off, we're going to look at the old bike setup, and it's a good time to review your bike after a heavy season of riding in the summer. There's going to be some wear and tear issues that during the summer make less of an impact, but as the trails soften up, roots get more covered in moisture and the terrain generally offers a little bit more of a challenge, we can perhaps upgrade a few elements, renew a few elements and make sure that when we're searching for that grip, it's easier to find. Let's start with the contact points for us. Grips and pedals. These grips have seen much better days. They are now uber lightweight, and when they're dry they offer a certain amount of grip, but as soon as there's any moisture on those, they become slippery little fish that are very hard to hold on to. The less grip I've got available, the more I'm tempted to grip on tight, and that death grip strangling the bike, as we've seen in lots of issues, is a real issue. So what we're going to do is quickly spin out those, get some fresh rubber on the bars, get a grip back to where it needs to be, so I've got the confidence just to grip lightly as I ride rather than strangle that bike. Another consideration is primary point of contact with the bike, as far as I'm concerned, is the pedals. I'm back on flats for a while. Key to that is making sure that all the pins are in place, that I'm wearing a nice flat-soled shoe with a good area of contact, so I don't have to worry about slipping off that pedal when I'm trying to create traction on the trail itself. If you ride cleated shoe, if you ride clip-ins, clipless, whatever you call them, SPDs or other formats are available. Just switching to flats might mean that there's less chance of your cleats clogging up with the conditions changing, and a good solid platform there. In the winter months, as we slip and slide a little bit more frequently, there's a desire maybe to stick your foot out and use that as a point of control as we're riding the trail, as a last resort to keep us rubber side down. If you can get your foot out nice and quick or off nice and quick off a flat pedal, it might give you that little bit more confidence than riding clipped in and worrying about the point at which you decide to unclip. So, nice pair of flat pedals, or treat your clipless pedals to a bit of an overhaul to make sure they're functioning well, and keep those cleats in the bottom of the shoe nice and clear of dirt and grime so that you've got a good contact with the bike. Essentially, that platform, the more stable, the more confident I am in gripping into that platform, the more relaxed I'm going to ride. Then it's about thinking about our grip in terms of the bike grip in the trail. Now these tyres have had a pretty good workout pretty much since last season, so it's about time to refresh those. We're going to go with a nice aggressive tyre with a quite a wide tyre tread on it that's going to shed the mud quite nicely, but some big knobbles on it that's going to find some grip as well. Just upgrading the rubber on your wheels will give you a lot more grip, but obviously when we're out on the trail we'll look at how we can make them maximise the traction that we can find out there. Regardless of whether we stick some new tyres on, we can still do a little bit more ourselves to make sure that we're finding that traction. At this stage I'm also actually going to switch over to tubeless. These were a tubeless setup, but through the summer sidewalls have become split by rocks and we've ended up with tubes in there. Switching to tubeless will allow me to run a slightly lower tyre pressure without the risk of pinch flats. So getting back onto a tubeless setup will offer some benefits when it comes to finding traction over wet and slidey conditions, with that ability for the tyre to morph around things a little bit more by running at a lower pressure. So with fresh tyres, fresh grips, contact points, serviced pedals, contact points are good with both me to the bike and bike to trail. One other consideration for winter riding, and as we foresee more wet weather riding on the horizon, is perhaps fitting some form of guard to stop the spray coming up and hitting your face and blinding you. And obviously, if you really want to go the full bore, then you can put a back mud guard on too. Various different formats. You get ones that sit in here that stop some of the spray. You'll get various different ones that hug around the tyre like these. Very effective, hugely effective. Never need to wear goggles or glasses when you're riding with these. Some purists don't like the way it makes your bike look, but if you want to stay dry, you want to keep the dirt out your face, fitting a good quality set of mud guards is the way forward. I'm going to leave the back one for now because it isn't looking too wet right now, so we'll save that for later and deeper into the season. Main thing as far as I'm concerned is not whether I get a spray of mud up my back. That's going to happen to a larger degree unless I've got this on. but keeping the mud out my face. So looking at one form of either something that catches the mud here, or something that hugs the mud down here and keeps it hugged to the tyre and stops it spraying off, massive advantage when you're out there in wet conditions. So bike's good to go, just need to get myself good to go, and we'll go and hit the trails and look at how we can tweak our technique to deal with the changing conditions and make those seasonal adjustments.